I'm making this short video because it's the first of many that I plan to do in the future. Matter of fact, I've already recorded several interviews, 4 or 5 right now, and each one of them is about an hour long, maybe a little over an hour. But the whole point of this is I decided at my age, I decided I wanted to do a podcast. I listen to podcasts all the time, every day, matter of fact. I've learned a lot, especially in business. The last couple of companies that I ran, I've learned a lot, got a lot of information from listening to interviews, and majority of those interviews were done from podcasts. So I decided I wanted to do one. And the reason why I'm recording this is because I want those who are interested in the journey to follow along and watch what I do. Not saying whether I'm gonna be successful or fail. What I'm saying is you're gonna see me try, make an attempt. And I'm doing that for those who may be on the fence, wanting to do something in life, but don't know exactly what to do, how to do, or are those people who are trying to wait to have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. There are a lot of businesses where you actually have to have all of that done before you dive into it. Trust me. But there are some things that you just got to do and learn on the way, and I'm one of those people. I've been like that ever since I was 27. I started my first company at 27. And I've been like that for a long time. I'll do things and learn as I go, or I'll do some research. I will study up on something. I might buy some courses. I might do some things. But the main thing is for me is to just do, not overthink it. I wasn't raised in an environment where um, I was discouraged to be an entrepreneur. Matter of fact, I was encouraged to be an entrepreneur. My mother was an entrepreneur her whole life. All I knew was that when I went to work as a youngster, a kid, because that was the thing to do. That's what everybody, even my mom, even though she was an entrepreneur, she didn't have a problem with me working because she was like, you got to get some type of experience. But she used to always tell me, but you always need to have in the back of your mind to do your own thing. And so I just grew up like that. But I've noticed, though, especially in this environment, that there are a lot of people who are going through a lot of mental health issues. And I don't know, I'm not a clinical psychiatrist or nothing like that, so I don't know, if I don't want to speak on something that I'm not really sure of what I'm saying. But I just noticed that there are a lot of people having issues with self-esteem, especially. And then in this day and age, I mean, what we just went through for the last couple of years, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody living's got PTSD or some form of some type of psychological problems going on. I know for me, at the worst of the pandemic, I nothing really changed for me because of the type of work that I was doing. Some things changed. I had to, keep my distance from people, but sometimes I I couldn't avoid. I mean, we couldn't get around that. There were some things we just had to be together to do, and we did them. But I kept my distance as best I could, But then I lost people. I'm pretty sure everybody who will hear me speak has some experience in losing somebody or something, you know. So it was traumatic. So now that things are starting to seem like they're about to get close to normal, or maybe it'll never get back to what we call normal, but at least people can go outside and do things. So now I think it's time for us to try to get back to business, because we've had to change the way we do business. We had to learn on the fly with this. You know, every business venture that I was involved with, we had to adapt to the environment, what was happening. Some of the things that I was doing, I don't do anymore. Some of the stuff that was happening during that, when at the worst period, when I came out of it, I didn't want to do that anymore. But I knew being an entrepreneur, I wanted to continue doing that. So, my latest venture, well, one of them, I have a couple of things going, but my latest thing is this podcast. And my friends, I know that they don't really get what I'm doing. I know that they don't see it because we're used to being in a place where you want to see immediate results. This is not that, not for me. For me, the podcast is going to be something different. The podcast, probably for the most part, is going to be me giving back something more than getting and asking for something. Like I don't have no plans to sell anything, at least not in my immediate plans. I don't know what may happen later on, but right now, I just kind of want to see if I can help motivate people, especially young people. Because when people get to around my age, the mid upper 50s, 60s, whatever, we're pretty much kind of stuck in a thing, and we've been that way for a long time, and it's hard for us to come out, or we may never come out. For me, it's not hard for me because I'm just an entrepreneur who just adapts and I just move. I know how to move, with the times, and I keep my eye on what's happening. And I'll be honest, this podcast thing caught me off guard because I didn't realize the potential that it had. Now I do. So that's why you're seeing me on video. Prior to that, I have no real footprint on the internet, especially in social media. Now I've been on Facebook, but I've really never really posted anything. I think the last time maybe I posted something that I can think of, I don't know, years ago. I just started paying attention to Facebook because I didn't see the need, not for what I was doing in my life, but now I kind of understand that that's a good way to connect with people. It's a good way to get your message across. So yeah, so now I'll be on Facebook more. I'll be on Instagram. I have an Instagram account now. I have a TikTok account. And to be totally honest, my daughter's got to walk me through that because I have no idea why I'm on TikTok. I don't even know what that is. But she just told me I need to be on there, so I'm taking her advice. So I'm gonna make this video short because I do like to talk. And that's the other reason why I decided to do a podcast, because I love to talk. But besides that, I also like listening. I like learning. And the people that I already have interviewed are some interesting people. And I think when I put that information out, because we're trying to edit it right now, and that's going against what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to edit anything. I wanted it to be all organic. I wanted it to be just natural, but I can't get around editing some of it. I just can't, right? So we're going through the editing process right now. I'm even learning the editing process. I would say I'm teaching myself, but I have a program that I'm learning, and I'm kind of teaching myself how to edit, even though I have an editor. But I just want to be in a position where if the editor decided to do something different or whatever reason something happened, I wanted to know how to do this, because once I start putting out content, I want to be somebody you can depend on. When I say I'm going to do something, it's done. So that's the reason why I'm trying to learn how to edit. But my upcoming videos that I'll be putting out right now, or pretty soon, we're going to be, as you can see, a Bitcoin is right behind me. So one of the videos that I'm excited about is we're talking about cryptocurrency in this video. And the reason behind that is because most of the people, especially like I say, my age, we gonna just say upper 50s, upper 50. I'm 58, so let's just make that clear, right? But I'm just saying people, let's just say 50 and up, maybe even 45 and up, but I say 50 and up. For some reason, we know nothing about Bitcoin. We know nothing about cryptocurrency. We know nothing about tokens. We know nothing about the Internet of Things. We know nothing about Web 3.0. We can't see how that fits into our life. We can't see how that fits into the future. We don't understand the metaverse. And these are things that I have conversations about literally every day. And I'm in those worlds, and I'm in a lot of that dealing with tech. So I thought it was probably the best thing that I wanted to do, or the first thing I wanted to do, is have a conversation with somebody who I talk to a lot about the stock market, the crypto market, I'm also studying the Forex market, if anybody knows what that is. And like I said, people say 55 over or 50 and over probably have no idea of none of what I just said. It's all been a different language the last, say, 2 or 3 minutes. So that's why I wanted to put that information out. I want to have somebody who come in on a regular basis and speak on cryptocurrency and the metaverse and things of that nature, but break it down where it can be understood, where people can understand why they need to be investing in this. Well, I won't say they need to be, why those of us who are invested in it are invested in it. So that's what that's all about. But then I have some other interviews that, some people that I want to introduce, to the world. And I'm pretty sure the world probably know them. I'm the only one that hadn't been on social media. So these people may be old news to other people, but I still believe they bring something to the table. And these are people who I talk to and have talked with, spoken to over the years and been knowing for a lot of years. Some of them, I've done business with, I've been in business with, it's been ups, downs, and we want to talk about all of that, in this podcast that I'm putting together. Like I said, I'm very long-winded when I talk about things I'm interested in, and so I'll do my best to just end it right there. But I just want to put this out. Just look forward to the conversations that we're going to be talking about real estate, because that's something that I'm in full time. Investments, that's how I live now, off investments. Like I said, crypto world, we're going to be talking about that. But we're also going to be speaking to a gentleman who is building houses, just in the process of getting his general contractor's license. He also has a roofing company. And we're going to be talking about how and why is he doing that? What's the benefits of that? What do people need to know? Plus, it also introduces you to him if you need a house built or a roof, right? This gentleman also I think he still has some dump trucks, but I know he was in the trucking business for a while. He's been in a lot of it. You'll see. A young man by the name of Mark Racy, right? Then there's a guy that I'll be bringing on. My first interview, matter of fact, was a young man by the name of Lee Adams. Lee is a professional stand-up comedian, amongst other things. Lee also does some other things. He's involved in real estate and development and stuff like that. But I met him on a movie set when I was working in the movie industry. And he was the first person put me on stage when I did my little stint as a stand-up comic. And people who really, really know me knew I spent a few years being a stand-up comic, right? Let's see, then there's another young man that I interviewed by the name of Daryl McDay. Daryl, what's interesting about Daryl is his knowledge of science. He's a person who's been working for this company called Swepco for, I think he said about 40 years, right? And he and I have been knowing each other probably 20, 25 years, but we go nerdy when we're talking about science and stuff like that. We really, really go deep in this when we're dealing with science or when we're dealing with what we call spirituality. He used to be a pastor. I think nowadays he calls himself a minister, but we discuss religion, spirituality, but we also, like I said, we deal with science. We deal with the quantum world. There are some things that we talk about that, like I said, I call it nerdy because I know nobody else besides him that we have these conversations. We'll have an hour conversation about protons, neutrons, or electrons, whatever. So I think he's an interesting person people need to know, right? If they don't already know him, and he just needs to be introduced to a whole nother audience. So I'm hoping to be the person that brings that audience to all of these people. And I have my daughter lined up, my youngest daughter, Charmaine Brown, which is Charmaine Gonzalez now because she just got married, but I'm sticking with Brown. Sorry, baby, love you. And my son, Jordan Brown. Jordan Brown is also an interesting young man. He's all of my children are entrepreneurs, and I'm proud of all of them. But these two here, these are two that I'm in contact with a lot. And I just want to introduce them to the world because I'm very anxious for people to know. And Charmaine, people know about Charmaine all over the country, right? She started a business 2 years ago, and it just blew up, right? And then my son Jordan, he's been working in this company that I started in 2012, late 2012, and he came in around 2000, maybe 14 or 13, somewhere in there. However, he was 16 when he came in, and he worked in the company for years. And then he actually took over the company in 2020, and now it's his company. And that's the credit repair business, right? And so he does that full time as well as some other things. He's got his hands involved in some investments and other business ventures. And I'm anxious for him to, tell people about that. Okay, that's about as much, probably more than I needed to say, but I got a lot coming. And so I just kind of wanted to put out something to let people know that, this is coming. And hopefully it'll be information that people can use. And like I said, I'm not trying to sell nobody on nothing, but I would like to create, some type of I don't want to use the word family. I'm trying to think of what's a good word for it. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. This is a short version, and I'm actually going to do a longer version of this video explaining everything behind what I'm about to say. But the short version is I want to create this hashtag making money while I sleep. Community. Maybe that's a good word, community, right? So I want to create this thing because I actually do that, and I know, a few people who do that, make money while we sleep. And I want to talk about some of the things that I'm doing and some of the things that I did to do that. And I just want to create this community where we share information, and people, call me all the time wanting to know about things like that. Like, how do I make money? How do I make extra money? It's just, how do I start a business without a lot of money? How do I get money? I have a lot of connections with banks, and, excuse me. And I have a lot of friends in the banking industry. And so, promoting their business also helps me help other people by just, passing a number on or a name on to somebody when I know that this person can help you with whatever you're trying to do. Because all banks don't do the same thing. And that's the one thing that people need to know. Right. And so I'll be talking about a lot of that, there'll be a lot of information coming soon, but I just kind of wanted to just do something instead of sitting back talking about, I'm going to do this and keep putting it off, because honestly, I'm the last person who really wants to be, online like this, but I can't figure no other way to get to masses of people and get this information out and help other people, introduce themselves to the world and spread their message. This is not the best way that I can think of. So, okay, until next time, see you soon. This is Friday evening, April the 8th. And I want to timestamp that so people can see, if I'm on top of my game or if I'm just talking. Okay? All right. Hope to talk to you again soon. Checking out. And I probably will